we go. So there we go. So welcome to the next episode of Business is Personal. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. Hello to everyone via Facebook. Hello everyone via Instagram. And the overall purpose of this online series is to talk about the experiences that business owners usually don't. I'm huge on being transparent, and when it comes to business, they say you should never take it personal, right? But there are a lot of personal experiences that are drawn from being an entrepreneur. For example, last week we touched on the topic of failure. Every entrepreneur has failed in some way, shape, or form. However, we deem failure, well, a lot of entrepreneurs deem failure as being something wrong, and at the end of the day, do any and everything that they need to do to cover up to try to make it seem like they're perfect, knowing that no one on this earth is perfect, and the failures that you experience as a business owner are nothing but building blocks to get you where you need to go. I know it's cliche, but anyone that has failed, whether it's in their business or in life, if they have the right mindset, they can use it to build off of build off of it, so it can help better them and it can be a lesson learned, right? I got a lot of feedback, both positive and a little bit of negative, and it's so funny that kind of lean towards the topic of criticism this evening. But I appreciate the positive, and I challenge the negative, right? Because a lot of the negative comments that I received, it was from individuals that I know for a fact are unhappy with their life, whether it's they're unhappy with their business, they're unhappy with where they are in life, and they would rather complain and point the finger at what I'm talking about, as opposed to giving some constructive criticism. And I'll talk a little bit about this more and some of the things that I do when it comes to criticism. But it's someone criticizing me when it comes to these videos is not going to stop me from doing what I need to do. Actually, it will give me the fuel that I need to move even forward. So, but a lot of people, if they would read the comments or the emails that I've gotten, it will stop them in their tracks and will prevent them from moving forward, because they are just, so drawn with making people happy and not getting any type of criticism, hate, however you want to call it, in this day, shape, or form. But for me, it motivates me, because I know that what I'm doing, it makes sense, even if it's one people that look at this video, or if it's 1,000 or even 1,000,000. I know for a fact that there are business owners all over the world that are experiencing these particular personal feelings, and they feel like they have they feel like they can't express it themselves, or they feel like they don't know how. So, I appreciate the comments, and just keep it moving in the right direction. But today's topic, or this evening's topic, is more on the lines of criticism. And criticism is something that, not only entrepreneurs go through in their business, but also just people in general. However, when it comes to a business owner, whether the information or the criticism is either good or bad, it can stop someone in their tracks based off of, one, who it's coming from, and then two, what type of what's being said, right? I know we always say that we need to have thick skin, And especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because you're going to have to understand and realize that rejection is going to come, and you need to kind of shield yourself from it. However, it's easier said than done, because a lot of people, they don't know how to do it, and they will let the criticism of someone that is close to them, um, stop them in their tracks, as opposed to using it as motivation. And depending on who the person is, you have to be very careful on how you respond, because I've known entrepreneurs where their quote unquote close personal friends have criticized them. I've had spouses criticize other spouses based off of their business. So you just can't turn your back. More so on friends, you can turn your back, but when it comes to your significant other, you just can't say, okay, I'm leaving you because you won't support my business. However, there are some actions and some activities that you can take to, brace yourself for the criticism that you will receive, that during your entrepreneur journey, because it is going to come in any way, shape, or form. So based off of that, the first thing I would want to talk about when you are an entrepreneur and when it comes to criticism, you'll never, ever, ever, ever be able to avoid the criticism, regardless of where you are in this world or what stage you are in your business. Everyone has a mouth, and all the people are very, very opinionated. So some people will be opinionated to the point where they give you praise, but then others will have no concept or no idea of your business, but they would just want to say something negative just to tear you down. And that negativity can come from based off of the fact of that, they may not be happy in their lives. They may not understand your business. They may not just quote unquote get it. And that's okay. But a lot of times people take one negative criticism and they stop what they're doing, knowing that your journey is always going to be filled with criticism and some sort of negativity. Not from everyone. I pray that you position yourself and position your business, that you surround yourself in a community of people or community of supporters that will always support you in what you're doing. But for every 10 to 12 people that support you, there's always going to be one person that doesn't. I mean, though, and those numbers may be skewed based off of your experiences as a business owner, but you can't avoid criticism. It's always going to be there. People are always going to feel like they can give their opinion, even if you may not ask for it, because unsolicited criticism usually is unsolicited. True entrepreneur who's always trying to better him or herself may say, hey, I need some feedback. However, they're not going to say, okay, I need for you to tear my business down or try to do your best to tear me down based off of what I'm doing. I've never heard an entrepreneur say it in that way, and I don't think I ever will. But once again, having the understanding that you will never avoid criticism can start to help build that mental armor that you would need to last as an entrepreneur. And one of the things that I do to this day to continue to build that positive armor, and when criticism comes, I don't take it personally, is write down the things that I'm good at, or write down my accomplishments with me being a business owner, both good and not good. But what you want to do is get in the habit of being positive and get in the habit of always seeing on a daily basis how you're contributing to your business. And the notebook, you can easily get a $1 composition book from the dollar store or Walgreens or whatever have you. But these books are very important, where at the beginning of the day when you wake up and at the end of the day before you go to bed, write down the good things that have happened as an entrepreneur. Write down the lessons learned as an entrepreneur, because just because you want to build an emotional armor around you as a business owner doesn't necessarily mean you still can't improve and grow, right? So the best way to do that is capture that information in a composition book, where every day you can write the things that you have accomplished, the things that you've done to move your business forward. But then more importantly, what you can do is go back and reflect at a later date what you've written, because that will help overall with how your business is moving forward, what you've learned, and things of that nature. But more importantly, you are infueling yourself with so much good and so much positivity that when a negative criticism will come, once again, which it won't destroy you. You'll be able to look at it from an objective standpoint as opposed to just, as they say, catching feelings and letting that prevent you from moving forward as a business owner, right? Number two, you actually, as a business owner, you need criticism because that overall criticism will bring attention to you and attention to your business. When someone criticizes you, it's not how you receive the information, but more importantly, is how you respond to it, or not how you react to it. Because a lot of times when someone is criticized, it quote unquote hurts their feelings, which I totally validate when it comes to people's feelings, and it gets to the point where they lash out or they are reactive as opposed to looking at looking at that criticism as a strategic tool in a sense. One of the best comments that someone told me when it came to it was a particular stage in my business where everything I would put out, it would get criticized by someone, and it got to a point where mentally I was going to stop putting this positive information out because I was exhausted, and more importantly, I was afraid that anytime that I would put something out, I would get criticized and it would quote unquote make me feel bad. However, one entrepreneur who went through what I was going through as opposed to being criticized and knocked every single day, they told me a bully doesn't pick on the person that's willing to fight. Let me say that again. A bully does not pick on the person that's willing to fight. What do I mean by that? Now, I'm not saying do what a lot of people I see on social media or reviews do and lash back out and get very personal about what the criticism, what the person said to criticize the person. However, if you strategically question that person, not give them too much attention and ask them, okay, so what was the reason behind that? Or, do you really think what you said was really productive? Not 9 times out of 10, but a large portion of it, they would back down because they are expecting for you to respond in a strategic way. They're looking for you to lash out. If they say your stuff sucks, they expect you to give them a lot of energy, a lot of negative attention, a lot of negative lash out back to them in a negative way. And just giving them the attention that they want. They really don't care about your business. They really don't care about what you're doing, but they want to get a respond or a reaction out of you. In this day and age, you have people called trollers who are out there. This is what they do. Their job is to try to disrupt what people are doing in a negative way. Now, don't get me wrong. You can only ignore it to a certain extent. But when it gets to a point that this person is continuously criticizing you or chastising you with your business, then you have to get to the point where you have to strategically come back at them. For example, I just actually coached a woman where her husband would just always say bad things about her business. Every single day. It got to a point where she was a shell within herself. And not only didn't she speak on anything about her business because that's her significant other, and she wanted to share this with her, but it got to a point where when it came to just communication, it totally shut down. So once again, I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm still learning when it comes to marriage and communication and things of that nature. However, one of the things that I asked her to do was next time her husband would say something negative, just ask her, okay, do you have enjoyment? What enjoyment does you criticizing my business brings? And it stopped him in his tracks. And the reason why he would chastise her and criticize her is because he wasn't a part of the overall process, and he felt like she was leaving him, knowing that she was exploring her gift so she can not only go after her dreams, but then also help support the business, right? So once again, if she would have just been a shell of a person and just continued to take all the criticism, she wouldn't have had the strength just to ask that one simple question to gain that overall clarity and to really figure out the reason why he would criticize her with her business, right? I know that was just one scenario, and I know sometimes that's not the best route to go, right? Because you have some people that will push your buttons and they will continue to criticize and criticize and criticize and criticize. So another thing that you can do, and this just depends on the type of relationship that you have with the person. If this is just a heckler on social media, the best thing you can do is just block that person. Why to even engage in them? Because you're taking the energy that you're spending trying to, you know, get back at that person, so to speak, that can be energy geared towards your business. However, if this is people that are quote unquote close to you, maybe sometimes the people who are criticizing you, you need to kind of distance yourself from them. Once again, this is based off of the relationship that you have. Wives and husbands, I'm not telling you to leave your significant other if they don't understand. You definitely have to figure it out. But if it's someone who's a quote unquote friend and they're chastising you and criticizing you about your business, maybe you need to take a step back from that relationship. You know, that you can always love people from afar, but this is your business, right? And this is a way for you to provide for yourself and your family, or even bigger than that, fulfill a dream that you have. So sometimes when people who are close to you are criticizing you, you need to take a step back and see, do I even want to be around this person? Or better yet, hey, is this person going through some stuff that's even bigger than me? And do I even need to be in their vicinity? I've seen it happen with friends. I've seen this happen with cousins. I've seen this happen with brothers and sisters. Sometimes you need to kind of give yourself some distance to love that person from afar, so you can focus on your business. Because it receiving criticism on a regular basis from someone, it gets to a point where it becomes second nature, and then people start to doubt themselves. People will start to really start to stray away from the overall business. And saying that kind of leads to the third thing that I want to talk about. Anyone that criticizes you, you already know that it really isn't about you. Let me say that again. Anyone out there that is criticizing you for your business, it's really not about you. It's more about that person and their insecurities and their shortcomings. This is something that I dealt with. I've been in business for about 8 years, and this is something that I dealt with from the very beginning. This is before, you know, my wife. This is before London. This is when I was just trying to feel my way out in the career management and the professional development space. But I had, you know, a so-called friend, and every time that my mistake was I would talk to him about the business because I was excited. Since I was excited, this is something that I want to share with any and everyone that I knew. But that was one of my mistakes, and that was my lesson learned, because once again, my dream and my overall goal for the business was bigger than him. And not saying that I'm better than anyone else. I'm probably one of the most humblest person. I don't know if that's a word. I'm a very humble individual, but at the same time, the dream that I had and the goals that I had for the business were bigger than him. So anytime that I would talk to him about what I was doing and who I was working with, who I was helping, he would always shun the idea. He would always, man, you're never going to be, you know, you're never going to be like a Tony Robbins or a Les Brown. And the mistake that I made was, one, I got to a point where I would hope that he would change. Once again, we're grown men. So my thing is, me expecting another grown man to change was suicide on my part, right? But once again, I considered this person a quote unquote friend, and I assumed, and this is another topic we'll talk about in another session, I assumed that since he was my quote unquote friend, he would support me and listen to me talk about the business and things of that nature. But little did I realize, after distancing myself and really taking pieces away from the overall interactions that I had with him, I'm talking about a business. I'm talking about making money. I'm talking about dreams and goals and things of that nature. And this guy couldn't even get a part-time job. But the reason why he couldn't get a part-time job because he was high all the time, he was drinking all the time, he had no ambition, he had no goals, he had no women, he didn't have anything. So even the smallest thing that I had, which I thought was relatively small, he looked at it as being big, and it was a reflection on his shortcomings as opposed to using that as motivation to say, well, Eric is out there, he's trying, because at this point I really wasn't super successful. I mean, I'm not super successful right now, but we're all striving as entrepreneurs. But I was just starting out, and I was moving the needle forward bit by bit by bit. But even that little bit was a little bit too much for him. And it got to a point where I realized, okay, what's more important? Me having this toxic friendship with this person, or me pursuing my dreams? And I've sat there and waited on that for, it was a while, but then I realized, you know what, my dreams are a lot bigger and a lot more healthier than him being so toxic and he being in my life, so to speak. But once again, I didn't totally cut the guy off, but I just kind of distanced myself. I was quote unquote more busy with the business. But even to this day, after 7 to 8 years in my business, he's still doing the same thing. So me realizing that his criticism had nothing to do with me, and it was more about what he didn't do in his life, even though he had total control of it. Once again, at this point, I don't feel, in the beginning, I felt a little bit sorry for him, but after really realizing it, with him being a grown man and being fully capable of getting off his behind and pursuing what he wanted to do in life, he could have done it. So at this point in my life, I have no remorse. I have no sympathy for him, especially because he still has ample opportunity to turn his life around. And I've tried to help him, but I say this to a lot of my clients, hey, he has to learn how to help himself. So me looking back on that and making the decision to say, okay, this isn't even about me, it's more about him and how he feels about himself, was the best decision that I've ever made to distance myself from him. Because if not, I would probably still be listening to him today and not written 4 books, not had numerous career and business programs, not just speaking in front of people and workshops and things of that nature, just being happy in what I'm doing, I'll probably be just as miserable as him. So now, with that lesson learned, anybody that quote unquote criticizes me now, I look at it from that perspective. I'm so thankful for that experience, because now I look at it like, okay, if someone criticizes me with my business, 1, is this really about the business? No. 2, okay, how is this person doing in his or their life? Are they successful? Are they productive? 9 times out of 10, someone who criticizes you, they're not. And they want to take out their pain and their agony, or whatever the case may be, out on you. But as an entrepreneur, you need to be focused and remain focused to say, all right, hey, my goal of doing X, Y, Z in this business is more important than hearing you criticize me based off of my business. Now, constructive feedback, that's another thing. And I'll briefly touch on that, because you have people that are willing to help you and to give you constructive, quote unquote, constructive criticism. But once again, I don't take any type of advice from someone that hasn't done what I'm trying to do, or hasn't gone through a similar type of experience, because I'm thankful that I have people around me that gives me that type of criticism that I trust, and I don't take it personal, because I know at the end of the day, this person or these people have my best interest at heart. So I'm going to listen to what they have to say. So however, if it's someone on Facebook or someone on Instagram, or give me a negative comment or a negative email, I take it with a grain of salt. Now, don't get me wrong, does some things still hurt? Yes, they do, because I'm still human. But I would say a good 85% of what's thrown at me really doesn't faze me. It's like Teflon, it rolls off. And that's what I would want for you guys also. I don't want you to be 100% insensitive when it comes to things, but you're going to have people that try to come at you and criticize what you're doing, knowing that your business will be successful or you'll be successful. You have some people that will criticize you knowing where you're going in life, knowing the success that you are capable of doing, and they try to sever that based off of their negative comments and or the negative criticism. You know, as much as there's a lot of love and support when it comes to, you know, entrepreneurs, there's a lot of hate and a lot of deceitfulness also, because, you know, as much as you have people that want you to succeed, you're going to have a lot more people that don't want you to succeed. And that's the harsh reality. And sometimes, you know, people feel the best way to stop you from succeeding is to criticize you on what you're doing. However, with me being an entrepreneur, you know, I support any and everyone that's going after their goals and their dreams, because that seed that was planted in you to start a business, it needs to be watered and it needs to grow, as opposed to that seed being planted and then a weed taking over your garden. Because you're going to have people out there that don't want you to succeed. And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I really would rather be very transparent with you guys and give you the real, as opposed to just sugarcoating it. You are going to have people that will criticize you with your business. You are going to have people that are going to try to tear you down based off of the fact that they know that you're going to be successful. And with you knowing that and anticipating that, that will help you prepare to maneuver through those, it will help you maneuver through those things, and you'll be a better entrepreneur. But once again, and I said a little bit about this last week, when it comes to failure, most entrepreneurs, they always want to tell you the good side of business. So they want to show you the success and they want to show you the wins, but they don't want to show you, hey, I was mentally beat down when it came to my business because I had more people saying that it was a bad idea as opposed to being a good idea. And that's not being honest, and that's not being transparent. For me, tell me your struggles, because then I will respect your triumphs a lot more. But once again, we position ourselves on Facebook or Instagram and only show the wins and only show you the good times, and only showed you, hey, you know, I'm making $100,000 a month with my business. That's cool, but tell me the struggles behind that. Make it relatable so I can, one, even want to support you even more based off of your struggles, but then you also look like you are a human being, right? And any entrepreneur that's looking at this, you understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, entrepreneurship it's hard. Entrepreneurship is a struggle, but there is a gift and a reward behind it. Everyone can't be an entrepreneur. Let me say that again. Everyone cannot be an entrepreneur, or everyone is not gifted to be an entrepreneur. But if you are gifted to be an entrepreneur and you are at a stage right now that you are being criticized with your business, once again, write down just a little quick tips. Let me go review it again. Write down the positive things that are going in your business. Once again, you can go to Walgreens or the dollar store, get you a composition book, and write in this book. Write in this book before you go to bed at night and when you wake up in the morning, because you need to have that positive reinforcement in your life and in your business. So when the criticism comes, it won't affect you the way that it affects a lot of people. You know, you have a lot of business owners that stop their business because the right person said the wrong thing. And let me say that again. You have a lot of business owners that stop what they're doing because the right person has said the wrong thing. So if you are at a particular stage of that in your business and you're being criticized and chastised by whether it's family, friends, and things of that nature, the best thing I can tell you is to keep going. Don't stop. It may be a situation where you may have to slow down and regroup, but slowing down will still get you to your destination as opposed to stopping, right? So once again, criticism is real. It's something that entrepreneurs cannot avoid. However, there are some things such as writing positive things that are going on in your business to help you give it that reinforcement, and learning that the people that are criticizing you, it really isn't about you. So keep going. So once again, the topic of criticism is another piece of the Biz Therapy group session that I'm currently will be hosting the latter part of March. We still have tickets available. If you are a business owner and if you wanted to, you know, in a safe and confidential space, wanted to talk about, you know, your current business challenges or and receive tangible results. I'm not pie in the sky when it comes to giving people results. One of the things that I pride myself on when it comes to this Biz Therapy group session is people leave out with tangible steps where they can do the work on their business, right? So if you are a business owner and you are interested in getting tangible advice from not only myself, but other business owners who may be going through the same thing that you're going through or just got out of this situation, but nonetheless can give you critical feedback, definitely click on the link that's in this video to register for my next Biz Therapy group session. As a heads up, these group sessions are very intimate, so at the most you're going to have 10 entrepreneurs. I'm also big on confidentiality, so anything that is discussed in that room stays in that room. Because I don't want anybody's, if you are brave enough to put your business out there in front of people to get help, I want to make sure that what you're quote unquote going through stays confidential. So if the time is about, it is 30 minutes after the hour. Once again, thank you guys for taking the time and the effort and energy to look at this masterclass series on business is personal, and look out next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for the next session. Once again, it'll be 5 sessions. We have 2 down and we have 3 more to go. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Good night.